Welcome to Wednesday's Inside Look by Brooks. I'm joined by my co-host, Beach Brooks III. How you doing, Beach?
I'm pretty well. How about you, Steve?
Doing good. So today we are talking about our buffalo culture. I was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming a couple years ago, and it's so interesting to see all the buffalo roaming in Yellowstone and started to read about buffaloes, and they have a very interesting trait. Um, Buffaloes, when you have an approaching rainstorm, when they see the storm, they run right to it. So they get to the storm passes, and it's over with quickly. And cows are completely the opposite. Cows tend to see the storm and run, and so the storm is kind of constantly following them, and they end up being in the storm a lot longer than buffaloes because buffaloes instinctively run to it. And that's an interesting kind of a highlight of the culture that Beach and I want to create here at Brooks Law Group, and that is a culture where team members are running to the problem and not running away from it, and that way the problem gets resolved quicker and more efficiently. Just kind of want to get your take on that, Beach.
Yeah, no, I think, whether it be work, whether it be a specific case, or whether it be life just in general, I mean, there's always some sort of obstacle or something, that is causing you stress or difficulty in life. And when you can just deal with that head on, a lot of times it makes the situation much better than if you're constantly running from it or stressing about it. I know, every case that we have, there's, issues. And as lawyers, if we constantly ran from the issues and cases, we would never get proper justice for our clients. So we got to sort of have the buffalo mindset as attorneys and constantly going and fight for our clients to get them the best results possible, because we do have to take on the insurance companies, head on, because they do want to fight. But specifically in our law firm, I think we have a really good team that is really willing to, just take problems and deal with them themselves instead of, making them much larger than they should be.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was thinking in the past, I've had the occasion to talk to a lot of people with drug addictions and alcohol addictions, and it's funny, you hear their stories about they thought if they could move across country and change, they call it a great geographical cure, that would make life better, but their addiction followed them, and they thought if they could maybe divorce their wife, it was the wife that was causing all the problems. But wives 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, that person still had the same problem. So, and finally, after 10, 20 years of thinking that it's everything else, they finally look at themselves and realize, oh, I may be the problem, and my alcohol use may be the problem. To me, that was a real definitive way or concrete way for me to look at it in my mind, that we can create all kind of distractions to avoid a problem, or we can just face the problem. And
And
go ahead.
I think I think some of the best advice you ever gave me was, whatever is causing you the most stress, do that first thing in the morning. Because if you're the cow and you run from it, it's sort of going to hamper your productivity all day, because it's going to be in the back of your mind. Where if you get into work and you knock it out right away, that stress is taken away from you, and you can actually be much more productive throughout the day. I think the same thing also goes, working out's a great example. I know a lot of people like to try to work out after work, but there's always excuses after work, where I feel like the people that do it before work, do it first thing in the morning, they're much more stringent in their routine and going to the gym or working out at home or whatever it may be, because they knock it out right, first thing in the morning. So that's some of the best advice you've ever given me.
Yeah, and I had read that years ago that rather than sit and have your stomach churn knowing that you had to face this really arduous task, just face it in the morning and get it done. And I actually have that on my screensaver to do the hardest thing first, and that makes my life easier. So thanks for reminding me of that. And you know, growing up in a Southern family, as you did, and I did, there's so many qualities in Southern families, like, you know, they're very mannerly and charming, and they're always thinking about the other person's feelings. But some of that, you know, there's some dysfunction that can come with that, in that a lot of times you have to guess at what people are really thinking. And I remember being a child, we took a trip in our motorhome up to New York City. And I remember the people in New York City were so abrupt, but you knew exactly where they stood and what they meant. And I really kind of am attracted to those kind of personalities, because you don't have to guess what they want or what they're thinking. And so my idea is to kind of marry that New York abruptness with a Southern manner, you know, so that you are getting to the point, but you're doing it in a nice way. And I think that if we can, as a team, you know, address the tough issues head on in a nice way, that we can be really effective. And I know you run the Tampa office. I know you've got that office really on an efficient, I mean, you guys obviously communicate well. And, you know, we just want to replicate that throughout the firm. So thank you for what you're doing in Tampa.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we've been lucky over here to have great support staff, and you know, going back is trying to conquer or deal with the most difficult task first, because it sort of frees you to then be truly productive in everything else that you do. And you know, sort of going back to that buffalo versus cow culture, you know, we are a law firm at the end of the day, and you know, so many law firms out there, you know, are scared of trials, and they run from the trials and are forced settlements. And I know we're gearing up again. I probably won't be with you next week because I'll be in trial again, because we're, you know, running straight towards the insurance companies and want to stick it to them. It's just, I think you've done a great job, and you know, hopefully we can all become Buffalo someday. I don't think any of us will be perfect at it, but we can all strive for perfection.
No, and that's a great analogy about the trials. Yeah, you've got to try cases if you're going to get good settlements. And so you have to, the cases that don't settle, if you shy away from actually taking those cases to trial, the insurance companies, the adjusters, the defense attorneys are going to know that you don't draw the line. And so I applaud you and CJ for going to trial next week, and I know you do well, and let me know if I can help in any way.
Well, should be good to go.
Yeah, so thank you again for joining me, Beach, and anything to add?
Nope, just wish everyone a happy, safe Wednesday. Have a good one.
Yeah, and so thank you so much for joining us. As always, Beach or I would love to dialogue with you if you have any questions. Feel free to email me, steve@brookslawgroup.com, or Beach at Beach, three I's, yeah, at brookslawgroup.com. And whether it's about an auto accident, an injury case, or just, you know, you have a question in general about law, we'll be glad to dialogue with you. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Beach will be in trial, but I'll be here. Thanks for joining.